Well, hey, and I got back to where I once belong. I'm back home after a wonderful Friday and Saturday spent in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Of course, Friday night spent at Paul McCartney at the US Bank Stadium, and then had a little something to do also on on Saturday afternoon there. So really had a great time. Wonderful city. I always enjoy Minneapolis so much when I'm there. But of course, we're here to talk about Paul McCartney and the Got Back tour. So stay tuned for that after the intro. So yes, Paul McCartney and the Got Back tour made its stop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, October 17th of 2025. Several times he's been to Minnesota. I've got them all kind of listed here. I know I've went through a video on this already, but Wings Over the World was his first one that he came. Obviously with the Beatles, he was there a couple of times too, or at least once. No, I think it was twice the Beatles got there, but yeah, Wings Over the World. He was in St. Paul on June 4th of 1976. The New World Tour, quite a few couple of decades later, actually. He was in Minneapolis on May 23rd, 1993. The Driving World Tour, he stopped by St. Paul on that one on September 23rd of 2002. The US Tour or US Tour, I don't know how that one is. I know it's all capitalized on the US. Stopped by also St. Paul on October 26th, 2005. The Out There Tour, I'm going to count this as it. It's where I saw him. The Fargo Dome in Fargo, North Dakota on July 12th, 2014. You can see Minnesota if you're staying on the roof of the Fargo Dome. It's just like right over there. So I'm going to count that as Minnesota. And that's where I saw him too. So the only other time I've seen him. And then he also on that same Out There tour stopped by Minneapolis about a little less than a month later on August 2nd of 2014. Then also the One on One tour. He stopped by Minneapolis on May 4th and May 5th of 2016. So may the 4th be with you and Cinco de Mayo. There we go. And of course, the Got Back tour has been going since it looks like it's going to be 79 total shows on this tour. And it's I think we're on the last leg of it. I'd be shocked if he goes another leg on this because it seems like it's been it's right up there with one of his top numbered tours. I think there's a couple that might be just a few more shows than that 79, but of course, it's started in Spokane, Washington on April 28th of 2022, ended there at the Glastonbury Festival on June 25th of 2022 for that first leg. The second leg, he kicked off in Australia. It was Adelaide, Australia on October 18th, 2023. Finished that one off in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I hope I really said that weird, didn't I? We're just going to keep it like it is, though. And that was on December 16th, 2023. And that was pretty much Australia, Mexico, and Brazil was on kind of that leg there. The first leg was pretty much North America and a little bit of the UK there, if I remember correct there. Third leg started in Montevideo, and I'm not sure if I said that right, Uruguay, though, on October 1st of 2024. Finished in London at the O2 Arena on December 19th of 2024. And this next leg here, Minneapolis would have been the 7th show in this leg. That kicked off in Palm Desert on September 29th, 2025. But he did have that little add-on kind of preview show, warm-up show in Santa Barbara on September 25th of 2025. After Palm Desert, he went to Las Vegas on October 4th, Albuquerque on October 7th, Denver on October 11th, Des Moines on October 14th, Minneapolis, of course, on October 17th, and he will be next showing up in Tulsa tomorrow, as you're seeing this, October 22nd. And then continuing on with several other shows. I know Sam St. John said he's going to the Columbus show. I know Beatley Tone is going to one in Montreal, I believe. I know it's in Quebec, Canada. Several of us out here in the vinyl community, Beatles community, are going and seeing this show. There was also a couple of in attendance at that you might also see fellow YouTubers that were in attendance at Minneapolis with me. I was really trying to get in touch with them to kind of meet up. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out, but I mean, that's a pretty crazy thing going to a big stadium like that. But Mark P was there. I don't know. He's definitely a very Beatles-centric channel. He hasn't posted a lot lately, but he was definitely a huge influence of mine. And he was somebody I really wanted to get together with and say hi to. But he wasn't too far. When I saw the photos, he sent me a photo of where he was sitting in a video, and he was just up over my right shoulder a little bit. He wasn't too far from me at all. But do check out his channel. Also Kevin Vinyl Collector. I'm going to say his channel name correct there. Kevin Vinyl Collector, and collector is with a K. He's there. I've had really great conversations with him. One of my record store day videos, when John Lennon had the Give Me Some Truth, that white box set, 10-inch vinyl with the 10, I think it was 10 records, and very limited. My local record shop actually had one, and he's kind of Minneapolis based, out of that area, but he does have connection to my hometown, and he shops at my record shop there quite often, my local shop. And he saw that I mentioned on my record store day video that year that they had that box there at Budget Music here in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and his son was going to the University of North Dakota here in Grand Forks, and he called up his son and said, hey, go get me one of those. So he let me know about that, and him and I have had some great conversations ever since. He was messaging me back and forth during the show there where he was at. He was kind of on the other side of the stadium from me. He was there with his son and his other son too. So big shout out to you there, Kevin. And also Louise, and I hope I'm getting your channel name right here. It's MX Cartney. So like McCartney, but instead of the first C there, it's an X. And it's MX Cartney Louise. And I'll have an image of all their channels kind of banners up there, so you go check them out. They're all great people, and I know they were all there sharing this experience with me at US Bank Stadium on the 17th there on Friday. But I'm going to get to the difficult part on this, and I've been really struggling on how I was going to do this. I don't know, part of it was my seats, and my sister went with me. I also got to go with one of my really good buddies. That him and I have been friends for 20 plus years. It somehow worked out that he was able to join us too, and a total last minute thing. We had a spare ticket unbeknownst to me, and my sister let him use that. So the three of us really had a great time. The only thing is the sound was atrocious. And I don't put this on Paul or his crew, because his crew is phenomenal. I know they're phenomenal. I put this all on the NFL, and I've already made political comments on one of my more recent videos. Now I'm going to talk out about the NFL and how much I can't stand the NFL, so I'm probably going to get more hate on this than I did on my political one. But these stadiums are built for sending the noise of the crowd, which is horrendous. I can't stand listening to a football game. It drives me nuts because it's just this constant drone, this from the audience. Like soccer, real football, there's a ebb and a flow to it, and almost melodic. If you watch a soccer game, it's or listen to even a soccer game, it's relaxing almost. Where football, it's, this and then crunch and whistle and crunch and stupid ref talking about his thing, trying to get his moment, sunshine, day in the sunshine. And these stadiums are not built for concerts. They're built for that stupid drone noise to go down to the players for the opposing team to be distracted. I'm going to get off my soapbox on that. I'm just going to say the acoustics were horrible. The section I was in, I couldn't hear a thing. It was all these weird echoes of, maybe at one point you might hear a tambourine sound, and just like a little like ching of the tambourine. And then all of a sudden you'd hear, and if he was in between the songs when he was just talking and telling his stories, it was just, that was about all that I heard. That was it. And I started to learn I had to focus my hearing to the monitors on the stage. I realized I could hear those better than I could hear the actual PA system, which was right in front of me. The big trees, with the speakers on, were right direct in front of me, but they were facing this way, not towards me. That might be part of the problem, so maybe that is a little on his crew. But I still don't think it would have helped much. I think it would have just added to the echo and the crazy sound. So US Bank Stadium, get your shit together or don't host rock shows. There we go. And I do know my sister warned me ahead of time that she's a huge concert goer. She goes to a lot of concerts. She's very aware of this. I am not much of a concert goer. I'm more of the physical media guy. And she warned me. She said, I know that a lot of people, Minneapolisans, decide, I don't know if that's what you call people from Minneapolis, but he called, when I saw him in Fargo, we were the Fargoians. He did just say Minneapolis, Minnesota, this. So when I could hear him, which was for the amount of money I paid, I at least I knew I was just going to see him like this on the stage and, you know, watch the screens, but I'm in his presence and I'm there, you know, in the moment. And that's, you know, what really mattered to me. But the sound did matter some. So I can't really comment on his voice, you know, his vocals in the songs, because I couldn't hear him. I couldn't. And I couldn't even hear the band for the most part. I'd hear like a ching. That is honest to God what I heard. Honest to God. And I looked at my buddy. I'm like, are you getting the same thing? Like, is there something wrong with my ears? Like, no, he was getting the same thing. I did watch, there was somebody that posted almost the full concert. I watched first few songs in it. And this guy was also up kind of just, he was getting a little more towards looking direct on with the stage, but he was still a little offset. The sound, and he was up probably another level above me too. And the sound from his section sounded slightly better, but there was still that terrible echo and you weren't hearing everything. And okay, so I'm really making it sound like it was a negative thing, and it wasn't. I still had a blast. I had a great time. I loved just being so surrounded by other great Beatle fans, and just the joy and the love, you know, of their music and of the man there himself. And even right before the show, I stayed at a hotel that was literally like 2 blocks from the stadium. So I wanted to just, you know, walk to the stadium and walk back to the hotel when it was done. I knew that there was some good restaurants and stuff in the area too, just within walking distance. I just wanted to park my car, be done with that, and just, you know, walk wherever we were going. And I loved it. We walked out to the restaurant, which was just kind of right on the same block as the hotel was, but just kind of around the corner. Pretty busy street that was going by there. And I loved just, there were cars driving by with their windows down, just blasting Beatles music. I think one guy went by with I Want to Hold Your Hand, just blasting. He was kind of slowing down right as I was kind of walking by him, and I saw he had the windows down. I'm like, yeah! He looked at me and gave me a big thumbs up too. Just everybody walking around with their Beatles or Paul McCartney shirts on. I saw this one guy had on the New York shirt, New York City shirt with Lennon, the white with the, you know, the rings around the sleeves and stuff and around the collar here. And he had the Lennon style glasses on, the sunglasses, and then he had a wig on that looked just, it was still a cheap wig, but it was a pretty decent cheap wig, because I totally saw, and it looked just like Lennon in all those shots for the most part. He walked right by me as we were heading up to the show, and that's awesome, and he's just smiling at me, hanging out the lobby bar at the hotel that I was at, which was also the check-in of the hotel, which was really kind of cool on that. But I knew it was going to be a party hotel, but they were just blasting Beatles music all night. As soon as we were checking in, that was what we were hearing. I went down to go have a beer before the show. That's what they were jamming out there. Even after the show, me and my one buddy sat and had a little chat down in the lobby there for an hour or so after the show, and letting the crowd kind of cool down for him to kind of take off, go back to his place for the night. And it was just Beatles music, and all the people just, you know, after the show, you know, post-show, looking at their t-shirts and looking at, you know, it was just so fun just being in that Beatles community there. Pre-show too, I did get chatting with a couple of people as I was having that beer. One guy kind of just last minute got the tickets to go, and, you know, him and his wife and friends were going, and sounded like, I don't think he'd been to a Paul McCartney show before, he told me, but really kind of fun chatting with him. And then as him and I were chatting, another guy came and sat down at the table with us. That guy, I really had a great conversation with, a really great time, really great story. And he was from Philadelphia. And as I'm filming this yesterday, the Minnesota Vikings at US Bank Stadium would have been playing the Philadelphia Eagles. He was a big Eagles fan and was there to see the Eagles, and then figured out, oh, Paul's playing there just 2 days before. And he was a huge Paul McCartney fan. He was wearing I believe it was an Out There I think it was an Out There Tour shirt. He had seen him. I think he said this will be his 6th time seeing Paul. Me and his wife were chatting, and as I'm chatting with him, and I'm sure he was thinking, oh, this guy sounds just like the movie Fargo or the TV show Fargo. And I'm listening to him and talking to him, and I'm like, he sounds just like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Abbott Elementary. I said, you're definitely from Philly. You're right from the city of Philly, too. You're not just saying Philly because you're from Pennsylvania. And he's like, no, I'm right from Philly. And I'm like, yeah, you got the accent, I said. So I was really tripping out on that. But, really fun kind of to meet some other fans and just have a little conversation with them, finding out who all they've seen and who, all that beforehand. And, just that Beatles love that just kind of surrounded that. At least I was within kind of a 3-block radius of the stadium there, and just how, just how much Beatles love was going on there. And it was just awesome. I knew I was going to get very emotional at, I've Got a Feeling. Every time I watch that online, if somebody posts about it when they were at the show, I just lose it. Even just thinking about it right now, I'm swelling up a little with tears, getting a little emotional. I knew that was going to be a tough one, whether I could hear it or not, just seeing John's image come up there and, Paul getting to sing with John again. One thing, weirdly, of the little bits and pieces I could hear and not hear with the crazy, stupid acoustics in that stupid arena, I heard John's voice. I didn't realize you could hear John even at the beginning of the song, as his backing vocal part. And I've Got a Feeling was in there. I'd never heard that on any videos I'd watched online before. And believe it or not, I could hear John's voice in that. And I'm like, ooh, there's John already. All right. But yeah, that was really cool. That was a really great moment. I could not hear Now and Then at all. I was really trying to listen. I could not hear Paul when he was doing Now and Then at all, or the song. I love the horns. The horns were great. Even just the visual of the horns, doing their thing there, with all that was enough for me. I love that he hired the horns to come on the tour here with him. Let's see, what else am I kind of trying to think? I'm not going to go too deep into the show itself because I couldn't hear it. I just couldn't hear it. I loved when Paul did his one wardrobe change of the show, and he showed the jacket with the liner in it, which we'll get to in the tour program here. The only thing I picked up, I want to get the Minneapolis specific poster. I should have an image of it up there, and I might take it down and up throughout the episode here. I love that he's doing that tour, that city specific poster for every city, and I absolutely am in love with the imagery and everything on the Minneapolis one. I wish there was a little more hidden little Minneapolis factoids in it. I need to study it a little more, I suppose, but maybe there is something. Oh, I love when Wicks held up, he had a tambourine and it had the Prince emblem on it. I love that, just that one little nod to being in Minneapolis and, a little nod to Prince on that. But yeah, I did finally get a tour program. It was the only thing I picked up. I want to get that poster, but that was about it that I got for now. I might get something else here and there too. But yeah, I love he did that wardrobe change. And this is literally the liner of his jacket is that image, the clouds there like that. And I was kind of, as I got flipping through the tour program here, after I got back to the hotel, I love this one with him during Live and Let Die. That is so cool. My buddy and my sister both partook in the legal THC that you could do in Minnesota. And they were quite with the laser lights, if you know what I mean on that. They were more looking up at the ceiling than the stage. The tour program, though, I wanted to get this because as a physical media guy, there's a lot of really kind of cool things in here. I'll kind of show you the physical media ads in here. But they're still advertising for McCartney 1, 2, 3, the little box set of McCartney 2, and McCartney 3. So that's still in there. A little bit on McCartney 3 Imagine there too, down in the corner. Letting you know that's all out there. Eyes of the Storm, the book, the photography book there is in there. Of course, I'm getting to, and what everybody I think kind of gets these, is looking for lately, the singles box there next, but the archive collection. And what does it say? There's still some hope here. I'll get to that. I know it's a little ways down the road yet, but I kind of want to show you. There's about half-speed masters there. I love that they showed those there, the 50th anniversary half-speed masters. See one hand clapping there. I even spotted the Woman and Wives single, the Record Store Day exclusive there. I see the cover on that in there. I'm hoping my camera's focusing, by the way. I found out my last few videos when I did the Power to the People, the 1 CD, the 2 LP colored vinyl, and the 2 CD, for some reason the focus wasn't working, and I didn't realize until I did the edit. I really apologize for that. Here back about the Got Back tour continuing, the band. Absolutely love watching Abe do his thing. He is so animated, especially Dance Tonight, but just any other moments. He just seems to really love what he's doing, and you know, he's so fun to watch. Lyrics book, another kind of physical media thing mentioned in here. What we got here is the archive collection. There we go. So there's the section on that still in here, and it still says, keep an eye out for news on the next releases on paulmccartney.com. So they didn't take that little blurb out. So is there a possibility 5 years on now, over 5 years on now, that the archive collection is to return? I don't know. So archive collection, this is going to be a new section because this is all on Wings, the new compilation coming out. Of course, you can see the pink and the green imagery on that. And there it is down there. You can see the kind of the front of the box there and everything. I don't see anything about the docu-series that's coming to Amazon Prime, but I did see ads for that up on the screens before the show. That kept flashing up there now and then. I'm so glad that he's performing that. This would be a new thing to it too. Anthology 4 getting mentioned in there. Yeah, I'm so glad that he is doing it now and then. I just wish I could have heard it. It sucks so bad. There's some cool photos there. All the cool color imagery there and all that. I sound like I'm really negative on this with the show, but it's just the sound was so bad. But I did have a really great time, and I'm glad I got to be part of the Got Back tour and, you know, got to go enjoy that. See Paul one more time, the second time I've seen him. That's part of my thing is I'm not really a big, and this now just proves so much more, you know, these large arena concerts. I've never been a fan of them. I'm not a huge fan of big crowds, you know, getting up and down stairs and standing up on, you know, kind of dangerous standing areas there. If you fall, you're about onto the ground if you slip or fall. And you know, I don't know, I just I'm not a big fan of that. I made an exception for Paul on this. When I saw Paul at the Fargo Dome, first off, it's a smaller theater or a smaller arena. It is a football arena too, but a college football arena. And I was on the floor on that. And from what I understand, I went and Googled it. I'll have a little post up here of another guy that was attending, that I found a Reddit post, him asking, you know, did anybody else experience the same thing? Yes, I did too. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one that was noticing that. But like I said, my sister mentioned that a lot of people went from Minneapolis, decided to go to the Des Moines show over going to the US Bank one in Minneapolis because they knew the acoustics were better there and the sound was better there. So a little smaller arena. I don't know what that arena is really built for. If it probably college something or another, I don't know, maybe something like that. But I know everything I saw said US Bank Stadium is terrible for acoustics, terrible for sound, for concerts. The floor level should hear it all right. I don't got money for the floor level, so that wasn't going to happen. Plus the way those tickets were selling and everything, it was just crazy. However, my sister told me she could have got us floor tickets for cheaper than the tickets we had the day before the show. So I think she said row 15 too. I was like, oh man, maybe we should have just held out. But you never know. You never know. And I don't want to take that risk knowing I wanted to be there and be amongst it, you know, no matter what. And I guess I should say no matter what, even with how shitty the sound was where I was sitting. So, yeah. I'm still very glad I went. Still, I'm going to, you know, once I get over the sound thing, you know, even a week from now, I'm probably going to be like, oh man, what an awesome event that I was able to be there and, you know, be in Macca's presence there, Sir Paul's presence. Just that the fun celebration I had with all those other Beatles fans and just, you know, getting to make some new friends, even though, you know, I don't really forgot their name or anything, but my buddy's from Philly there, I will say that. So, and yeah, I don't know. It was just a good time. It was a great weekend though overall. I always love when I get to Minneapolis and really get to delve into the city there. And I stayed right in the heart of the city, like I said, right by the stadium there, and really just enjoyed my evening there. Fridays, Saturday afternoon, spent all day outside, doing a thing, and something I was very proud to be a part of too. Just really getting to enjoy the city and loving it, and eating some great food and hearing some great music, and being a part of a great thing. Yeah. So I think I'm going to just get wrapping up here though on this. And I know I'm anxious to chat with some other fellow YouTubers, Mix, Cartney, Louise, and Kevin Vinyl Collector, and Mark P. Glad I got to share that experience with you. It would have been great to have met even one of you, but I know it was just crazy with everything going on there. It was just nuts, even trying to even get my buddy to meet up with me and my sister there, just trying to figure even that out. So let alone somebody that's never met each other in person, trying to meet up, somewhere. So glad we were all there and got to have such a great night, even though we might not have been able to hear it right. So there we go. But anyways, I'm going to get fully signed out. Before I do that, I want to once again thank all my subscribers, and thanks to any new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And do hit the notification bell so you know when I got new videos coming out. Also, please give the video a like if you liked it. And like I always say, if you stuck around to this point, you must like it. So please give it a like, especially me complaining about the sound of that stupid arena so much. And also do leave a comment. I love having a discussion with everybody. If you were at Minneapolis at US Bank Stadium here to see the Out There or the Got Back tour, let me know, was your sound experience the same? Were you able to hear it a little better than I was, or what was your thoughts on it? Or did you really have a good time, and does the sound great and you were able to hear it all? And yeah, just let me know. All right, but anyways, I'm going to get fully signing out. I'm Beetle Dustino, signing out.